you didn't see the last video, Emily was talking about the foods that she chose, the foods that she's been choosing over the last year or so that had been helping her to lose weight. And did you want to say how much weight you've lost?
65 pounds.
So Emily's lost 65 pounds in a little over a year. And so the purpose of the video is for people to get some tips on how you can lose weight and keep it off, and that's the most important part, is to be able to maintain it and to have that new lifestyle, and how she's been able to get into that lifestyle. So we were talking in the last video about grocery shopping and the foods that she likes, and she was talking about kelp noodles, and there were some other things that you said that you liked as well.
Coconut aminos is always good, but kelp noodles is one of my favorites. Also bean pasta is really good.
Great. And we were just talking about, you had referred somebody to a recipe, and you were saying sometimes people aren't open-minded. You'll give them suggestions. They'll say, Emily, what should I eat? Because so many people have seen how well she's done with her weight loss that they ask her for her advice. But you're saying some people aren't really open-minded.
Yeah. Unless you try it, like, you shouldn't turn it down, because it actually does end up, like, if you don't like it the first time, you'll probably end up liking it the second or third time. Like, you just gotta adjust to it. Like, they're not bad foods. Like, they taste.
So we were just talking about a black bean smoothie, and maybe if someone's not tried it or they are not open, it might not sound good, but they are good, right? Mm-hmm. Cocoa powder in them, and so it's like a thick chocolatey smoothie. So it does. So being open-minded would be an important part of this. Mm-hmm. You think so? You've been pretty open-minded, right? You've been trying new foods and things that you wouldn't have tried before.
Beans. That's like the big things. I mean, I'll eat beans. I'm not still a big fan of them, but if they're in a dish, I'm not going to turn a dish down just because, like, oh, it has beans in it. Like, I'll try it and then determine, do I like this, you know?
So when did you change to the point where you went from not being willing to try something to trying it?
Probably just joining boot camp in general, because, like, I'm already trying the new program, so I knew, like, coming in I was going to need to try new things, being whether it was the physical things or just what I put in my mouth. So, like, eating-wise, I tried a bunch of things I've never had before, and I ended up liking them, so I stuck with it. And
great. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the cooking?
It takes a long time, but it's always worth it in the end, since you usually have enough to divide into days of the week. And by the time you make it enough times, you'll memorize the recipe and it'll become second nature, and you won't have to, like, it won't be a hassle for you anymore, because you'll be able to just get up and do it. You'll know what you need, you'll know how much you need, and you'll know how much it makes, so you can plan your meals.
So really, this healthy preparation of food and healthy recipes, you start memorizing it, so you know exactly what to put in, so it can be pretty quick.
Yeah.
So maybe what you're saying is, don't get discouraged if you try a recipe and it seems to take a long time. It's just the first time you do it, then after a while it becomes a routine.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about how the exercise has changed for you. Because when you started, you weighed 65 pounds more, and you had mentioned that the cardio was challenging for you.
The exercise got easier as I lost the weight. I was able to challenge myself more, like, go from, like, easier form of a workout to a more harder form, the advanced form, such as, like, push-ups, doing them on my toes, whereas when I started, I did them on my knees, and I could only do, like, 20 or so, and I was able to go from 20 or so on my knees to go to 20 plus so on my toes. So just that improvement there was already great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you said you didn't really you didn't feel good about the cardio.
Yeah.
At first, because you would try to run and it would feel uncomfortable, and you didn't like it.
Yeah.
So how did that change?
Basically just through workouts, doing, like, jumping jacks or high knees, some type of cardio workout. My cardio increased, and I didn't even realize it until I went for a run one day, and I wasn't struggling. It wasn't like, I didn't hate it, because it was easier for me. I could breathe, and it was comfortable. So then from there, I just was able to increase.
So I think a challenging piece for a lot of people is that they are not feeling in shape now, and they have extra weight as well, so they don't even want to start because they don't like that feeling of feeling out of shape, so they just kind of avoid it. So what would you suggest to those people to motivate them to just get started with something?
I'll just say try it, and you're not going to like it, but if you stick with it, you will learn to like it, because you will find that it gets easier the more you do it. So if you just start like running a little bit, and then you can walk, like it's okay to walk when you're running, but eventually you won't need to walk as much because you'll be able to run more the more you do it.
And then as you lose weight,
It'll become easier
it becomes easier. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you can't get to the point where you want to be unless you go through feeling a little uncomfortable at first. And how did you motivate yourself to work out when you were still feeling uncomfortable and overweight?
For me, it was mostly like my mom did it with me, and just coming to boot camp, I had a lot of friends here, so it was like, oh, I want to go to boot camp, I want to see my friends, like the workouts are fun, the coaches are fun, it's a fun time to go there. So that was mostly me, like I wanted to come here. It wasn't like something where I was like, I don't know if I want to work out today, like I'm tired. Like if I was tired, I still came, because making energy makes energy. Like working out will make energy, like you'll be more energized, versus if you start a workout tired, you'll end it full of energy.
So I think, yeah, most people think if they work out, they're going to be really tired after, and maybe it's like that at first. But what you're saying is you get energized.
Yeah.
You derive energy from it, and then that probably feels motivating, and also seeing people that you want to see.
Yeah.
And so you want to tell them like how old you are and how old you are when you started?
I'm now 17, and when I started, I was 15. So.
And tell us about like any challenges that you think girls or even guys, but in your age group would have.
I feel like a lot of people can be insecure about wanting to like open up about wanting to lose weight, because usually that's more of a thing that you see when adults are trying to do, like they do like Weight Watchers, or like it's usually a program that is promoted for adults, but it's for anyone. Like anyone can change their life. Like teenagers, it's usually I don't think they feel like they have enough power to do that until they're an adult, but if you just like set your mind to it, you can do it.
And generally speaking, it seems like teenagers tend to eat a lot of junk food and fast food. So you're probably eating different than a lot of your friends.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about what it's like to go to friends' houses, go out, to be social, when you're eating so differently than them because you're eating whole foods?
It can be a bit of a challenge, but usually they'll be understanding, because they'll know like what you're doing. Like obviously if you've lost weight, you've had to change something to do that. So if you go to a friend's house and they're all like eating junk food, and you ask like, hey, can I have some carrot sticks or something, they're usually understanding about that. Like they probably won't criticize you, because they respect like what you've already done for yourself. So they want to like kind of help you keep where you are.
Right, and probably the people that aren't supportive might be the ones that are already struggling themselves.
Yeah.
Do you think that might be true?
Yeah.
Right. And tell us about how your life is different now in general. Just overall, how does it feel to be you versus how it felt before?
Yeah. You kind of like, when you're overweight, you kind of like feel like you stick out. Like you're not like how you should be. Like you should be a healthy weight, because that is what's good for you, that will help you live longer. Like it's not, you don't have any heart risks, for like a heart attack or something. Like you're living your life. And it also makes it easier for you to do like any daily activity, like even just like walking, like going up a flight of stairs, like it's easier than versus like carrying extra weight. You go up to the top of the flight of stairs and then you're out of breath, versus just like being able to do it, no big deal.
And you were saying even going on a hike now,
Yeah.
is different. That was interesting what you explained and how it was different now.
Versus like now going on a hike, you're able to focus on like, wow, this is beautiful, like how much you're enjoying it. Versus having extra weight on you, you're more like focused on, wow, I hate this, wow, I'm out of breath, like struggling.
Okay. So now it's more like you can enjoy the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because people, when they're looking to lose weight, they might be thinking about how they look, but it's not just about how you look, it's about how you live and how you feel, too. And you want to just give them any last tips?
Stick with it, because it will be hard at first, but if you make it routine, the best thing to do is make it routine, because then you won't even think twice about it, you'll just do it. And if you just stick with it, you can do it. Like, just put your mind to it and it will be done.
Okay, great. Thanks, Emily. We appreciate that you spent your time and gave us these tips. I'm sure that'll help a lot of people.